at Orlando Fire Station 1 with some tips that everybody needs to hear, David. It's really scary, but it keeps happening.
It's scary. And it's awful standing there yesterday and the family's coming up. They didn't know what happened and they found out a loved one died. It's terrible and completely preventable. I've got Lieutenant Derek Agard here from the City of Orlando Fire Station number 1. Good morning, Lieutenant.
Hey, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend. This is a typical generator you can get at a Lowe's or a Home Depot or any kind of hardware store, honestly. And I would think people watching this morning are thinking, I should have had one for Irma, given the number of power outages out there, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a generator can power anything from a small fan to a whole house, depending on the size. So anytime you have a power outage, it's always nice to get a generator.
But it doesn't, most people aren't buying a generator to power the whole house. Right? Just a few appliances might make more sense. A fan, a TV, how about a refrigerator?
Sure, refrigerator, people are worried about their perishables. They want to be able to eat. Window units for AC, people want comfort. So those are the two most popular things we see.
The most important thing that we have to iterate, I know the emergency alert came over my phone last night at dinner time from the whole state. You got to keep these things outside, not just next to the house. How far out from the house, Derek?
We're saying at least 25 feet away from the house. And not only does it need to be away from the house, but you need to point the exhaust away from the house as well.
Really?
If you get it away and then point the exhaust back towards the house, you're not doing a good enough job. The idea is this thing gives off CO. Any kind of incomplete combustion gives off carbon monoxide. And that is what can potentially kill you and harm you. So you want to get it away from the house, at least 25 feet, and point the exhaust away. Keep in mind that CO is colorless, it's odorless, it's tasteless. You cannot smell it, you cannot taste it, you can't see it. So you think you're 100% fine until you're not. And don't put yourself in that situation. That's the thing we're trying to stress here this morning.
At what point do you not realize you're dying from carbon monoxide poisoning?
Well, it's almost flu-like symptoms. You start to feel a headache, you get nauseous, you start to feel dizzy, weak.
Is that too late then?
It's not necessarily too late. The earlier the better to get out of the house, get into clean air. Oftentimes people feel so tired and sleepy they end up going to sleep, and then those are the people that oftentimes don't wake up. And so that's the big stress today, is to make sure you don't put your family in that situation.
One of your colleagues said, tie it around a tree if you're afraid of it getting stolen, because that happens, obviously.
It does, yeah. Unfortunately, the world we live in today, people will take your stuff, and that's a sad reality. And if you're worried about security, you can chain them to things. But I've been telling people it's better to lose a generator and have that story than to have it inside and have the opposite story.
Yeah, I think yesterday at the Daytona Beach housing complex we were at, they weren't even allowed to have one on property in the first place, so they were presumably hiding it, right, and keeping it inside, and they had a screen door, but clearly not enough ventilation.
Yeah, we've been hearing those stories as well, which is unfortunate. People try to hide it, they keep it inside. They think if it's on a back porch that it's been ventilated enough, and the reality is a gas will seek its own container, so it will seep into the house. House is not a sealed envelope, and therefore the gas will seep in and then ultimately work its way around to make people feel sick.
All right, so the question is, you have a generator. Maybe the last time you used it was 5 years ago. We're going to talk about maintenance of your existing generator coming up in the next hour of Good Day Orlando with this fine gentleman. Thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate it. Lieutenant Derek Agard with the City of Orlando Fire Department Station 1, the best there is.
They do great work. David, thanks. Just can't say those things enough, you know. And you